All right, Vincenzo, welcome, man. Thank you for coming. Truly appreciate it. As I said earlier, I saw you eat a giant piece of toast, and you ensured me that it was gluten-free.
I
So,
did.
which is a good thing. It's an option. And the way that we teach our kids and our members in our fitness community is to eliminate as many processed things as possible. So I have a little food pyramid here that I want to share with you guys that we created. And it's our food pyramid, not the one that the USDA created. So what you can see here are some very basic meats, any and all form. You have some vegetables, you have some fruits, some power foods, you have some berries, you have some seeds, and some nuts. So first of all, I have to make this very clear because I know there's a lot of people out there that would love to criticize anyone that's stepping up onto this platform and talking. I am not a dietitian. I am not a nutritionist. But I am a guy who's almost 40 years old, and I'm actually reversing that clock. There's no magic pill. There's no magic potion. I'm not selling you any kind of snake oil. This is the part of what I do to educate people, to make them more informed, to make the right decisions. So I asked you, why are you eating this toast? And you were like, well,
no reasons.
No reason whatsoever.
So do you want a little bit? Do you want me to tell you a little bit about like health-wise where I'm at?
Yeah, I'd love to. Yeah. How old are you, first of all?
I'll be 30 in October.
Okay.
And so I have hypothyroid. I take Synthroid, a thyroid supplement, basically a pill, whatever the hell you want to call it, prescription. And that's it. Health-wise, that's the only issues I have. I know that like family history-wise, high cholesterol tends to run in. My cholesterol is great. Everything else is great, but I know that that's potentially down the line. So I always try to watch out for that. I've been eating. I kind of like through my 20s, I was very much like the Mediterranean style diet, for lack of a better word. Not exactly, but then I kind of started eating like shit for a while. Pardon me.
There's no kids on this one. Later on in the day,
we'll have our right. I ballooned to like 230 for a bit, and then I dropped, and now I'm kind of right around between 185 195 is where I sit, right? Recently I'd considered like getting rid of meat out of my diet and going like kind of a vegan vegetarian type thing, but I don't know. I'm kind of at a loss, and I'm confused. I don't really know what is right anymore. There's always like people, you always hear, well, meat's bad for you. The meat's no good. Meat. So it's like, okay, well then don't eat meat. Now you eat vegetables. And people are like, well, now you're not getting the right protein. So it's like, you know what? I'm freaking lost.
Sure. And that's where, someone like myself really enjoys to be able to talk on this topic, especially here in Blab. And I'm going to do my best to just give you some suggestions and recommendations. Right?
Yeah, I'm open for it. Absolutely.
At the end of the day, one of my mentors, Jack LaLanne, came up with a great quote. He said, fitness is king, nutrition is queen, and together they make a happy kingdom. So you could do all the crunches in the world. You can do all the sit-ups. You can get 6-minute abs, and then you can go down to Chinatown and buy 5-minute abs the next day. It's not going to matter, right? There's no exercise on the planet that will help you get lean. Lean muscles, it comes from the reduction of inflammatory foods and alcohol and processed foods and sugar. So, I don't like to call anything we do a diet, and I wouldn't recommend using that word diet because diet is short term. Diet is something you're going to do for a little bit of time until you hit a desired result. What I want to do is I want to teach you how to live this lifestyle forever. And I've been in the fitness industry since I was about 19 years old. I tried to go bodybuilding. I was a former football, baseball, high school, and college athlete. And I didn't really know what I was doing because I didn't educate myself. I only listened to what mainstream media told me. And as we know, big food, big money rules the world. Yep. So we have to be smarter than that. And we have to educate ourselves and our children so that they understand, look, you don't have to eat that processed hot dog wrapped in a whole wheat bun at school, and you can make your own decisions by yourself. So let me keep it basic here for a moment. We should be eating to sustain the amount of energy that we need so that we can perform. Yes, lifestyle and indulgence comes into play. Yes, we go out on dates, or we take our wife out on date night, or there's, Easter Sunday, or there's a party that we're going to go to. All those things happen. So I like to live the 80-20 rule. 80% of the time, I'm going to eat clean. 20% of the time, I might fall off of that a little bit, and that's okay as long as I'm consistently eating the right way. Vegetarian, vegan, all protein, no carb, all those different things only work for a desired time. Now, I understand if somebody decides to quit eating meat for other reasons than just the fact that they're eating animal, and that's cool with me, but I've done that. I've been a vegetarian for a little while. I've been a vegan. I get the most energy and I look the best and feel the best when I eat balanced foods. That means I'm going to have a protein, a fat, and a carbohydrate at just about every meal. So for breakfast, right, we go with maybe 2 or 3 eggs, depending on our body weight and what we're trying to do. Whole eggs. We want cage-free. We want grass-fed meats. We want organic as much as possible. And what we don't want are the things that come with most of our breakfasts when we go out, like whole wheat toast or a whole wheat bagel. Wheat is wheat. It doesn't matter what shape or form, if it's a pita bread or it's a cracker, wheat is wheat. So if you are training, I heard you say last night you had 2 softball games. If you are training for sports performance, it's okay to have carbohydrates in the form of real simple sugars, meaning a rice, like a white rice or a brown rice or a basmati rice, and potatoes, sweet potato or a yam or even a white or a red potato, as long as we can take the skin off of that potato, because that causes inflammation.
The skin on the potato causes inflammation?
The skin on the potato causes inflammation. Yeah.
Oh, shit. I didn't know that.
So what's a typical day look like for you? What do you eat?
The morning would usually be 2 or 3 eggs, usually one whole egg and then 2 egg whites with, some sort of toast, usually some kind of whole wheat. Well, again, now I'm talking about before, like I've been doing 2 weeks. I've been kind of doing this vegetarian, whatever the hell it is. So, that would usually be the morning, a cup of coffee. Sometimes I drop a little bit of milk in it. I've been trying to do black as much as I can when I drink my coffee now.
So freeze right there at coffee, right? Yep. You may have heard of biohacking and mainstream, what we call bulletproof coffee.
Yeah.
Right. I'm gonna keep it really simple for you. I drink 2 to 3 cups of coffee a day, depending on the day. All you're gonna get is a organic pressed coconut oil.
Yep, I got that.
Right.
I have that.
Yeah, and for a man like yourself who has really good hair, you can actually put this in your hair as well. I highly recommend it. But you're going to put maybe a tablespoon or 2 of coconut oil and a tablespoon or 2 of coconut milk. We want whole fat coconut milk because we want full fat, right? We don't want sugar-free. We don't want light. We don't want any of that stuff because that has been processed. We want the real deal Holyfield, and we want to do it without dairy and sugar.
So you're saying, what am I putting in there? 1 teaspoon?
Coconut oil?
Yep.
Listen, you're a man. You don't need to measure.
No, I'm just asking. Yeah.
Lady? Yeah. So you put a couple dashes of the coconut oil, and then you put a couple more dashes of the coconut milk, and you throw in whatever coffee you're making. I'm not concerned about that. But then the key is to take that little bullet or a little mini blender and put all of those contents, including your coffee, in there and have it spin it around.
Really?
So it'll break that fat down so that when you digest it, it will be able to process through your body a lot smoother. And it tastes amazing. It's absolutely great. It's been a game changer for me, whereas I've done the whole Starbucks. I've done the whipped mocha and all that stuff. It's so funny when you see somebody who's out of shape or overweight at Starbucks ordering, a fat-free soy venti latte. Yeah. And you're like, do you even know what soy is, right? So we want to stay away from everything processed. The way that we teach our kids is simple. If you can't read it, you shouldn't eat it. Right. Yeah. So I say, look, the toast, that's just part of being an American. At some point, at some time, somebody handed you breakfast over and over and over again with toast on the plate. And you said, sure, I'll take it. When we go to restaurants now and we go to, any kind of nice steakhouse, guy comes out, hands us a plate of bread. Literally, we teach our clients to stiff arm the bread. And the guy's like, you don't want it? I had a guy say, it's free, right? I said, yes, thank you very much. I appreciate it. But no bread. All right. So what's lunch look like?
Lunch is usually is always a tough for me. Sometimes it's like, I'll be honest with you, sometimes I skip, which is the worst thing ever. But a lot of times it'd be like salad with chicken, again, before I cut meat out. Or I'm just loading up with vegetables like Brussels sprouts and
Okay, so freeze. Let me freeze you right there. Brussels sprouts. Let me freeze you right there.
Yeah.
Awesome vegetable, but boring. You're not going to be excited about going in the kitchen.
I actually do. I love them.
But let me give you the upgrade. Okay. And I don't have this recipe on my website yet, but I need to. You're going to take a pound of bacon.
Oh, geez.
And you're going to take those Brussels sprouts.
Yeah.
You're going to chop up those Brussels sprouts. You're going to lightly cook that bacon in a pan. And then you're going to take the bacon and chop it up with your Brussels sprouts and put it in the oven and bake it for about 20 or 25 minutes. When it comes out, stir it up, throw a couple raisins or craisins, maybe even some sliced almonds up there. And now we've made a power breakfast. And that's what we want, or a power lunch. We want power foods. So a couple things I have here. I've got a container of mixed berries. Why berries? Because they have a lot of antioxidants in it. Mm-hmm. And they taste amazing. So power foods would be your bananas, your avocados,
yep,
your berries. Eat as many of those as possible. And instead of skipping a meal or skipping lunch, snack. Right? There's days where I'm on the floor 8-10 hours a day and I don't have a chance to sit down at my desk. If I didn't have these go-to grabbing foods, I would be starving myself. Right? So people like the crunch. There's a reason why people like sandwiches. And we won't get into any Subway puns today, but people like that chip. They like to feel that. They like that noise, that sound. So don't say, I'm not going to eat chips, but you want to get chips that are either made with rice or sweet potato.
How about quinoa?
Now, quinoa is good. You just got to look at those ingredients, right? You got to read what it says on the back of the package because less is more, right? We teach our kids, look, if there's something you like, let's take a look at it because literally, I was at Grandma's house last week. Grandma had a bottle of syrup, Log Cabin, some generic brand. And on the front, it says no high fructose corn syrup in big, bold letters. Right. So Grandma bought it. But what she didn't do was turn it around. And on the back, it says corn syrup. Now, there may not have been high fructose corn syrup, but there was corn syrup on the back. So next time you go to the store, man, take a couple minutes and read everything that you're going to be purchasing. Because if it doesn't grow from the ground or it didn't have a mom, it was not real food.
Gotcha.
All right. So without getting into any actual food programming and giving you things to eat on a regular basis, right? Continue to eat the things you like. Just eliminate some of those other pieces to it, right? So get rid of that bread. Now, if you like pancakes or you like waffles, don't buy the packaged stuff, but look up a paleo recipe. I know my kids love to make paleo pancakes. It's literally 2 or 3 eggs, some almond butter, and a banana whipped up, and just boom. It tastes better than any kind of, Bisquick pancake mix you can buy on the shelves.
Okay.
How much time do I have with you?
I've got at least another 20 minutes.
Okay, great. Awesome. So when we talk about other things that we eat, we want to talk about how we eat them. And this is so old school, it's crazy, but everything that was old school is now new school. So I'm going to ask you to pay attention to how often and how much you chew your food. Because what do we do, right? You're sitting at your desk, you're like, it's hard to digest that food.
Yeah.
As great as your stomach liner is and the acidity in your stomach, you do not want to eat large chunks, especially if it's in meat. So here's another tip for you. When you're drinking liquids, we want to stop drinking liquids 30 minutes prior to when we're going to eat a meal and up to 60 minutes after we eat a meal. Our natural enzymes should break down the food that you're eating and chewing and spit it right out within the next 18 to 24 hours. If we drink water, and there's so many myths out there, that's the biggest problem with mainstream health, fitness, and nutrition, is there's so many different myths.
Sorry about that.
That's all right, you're good. So I tell people all the time, look, don't listen to, all the different things that are going to come up for people to sell products or sell magazines, right? Listen to a couple real quality coaches that are out there in the world. And if you need some extensive help, reach out to them and have them, do some custom food programming for you.
So you're saying even okay, so what about while you're eating?
So we don't want to drink anything outside of, a sip or two of water. What we don't want to do is flood our gut with liquid. So imagine your best buddy who was at your softball game last night, whose face looks like your coffee cup, and he's swollen from his face all the way down because he eats foods that are high in inflammation, and then he drinks mass amounts of beer while he's eating, and then he drinks more beer and eats more food. And before you know it, you have this swollen human being from gut all the way up to face, all the way down the body, which is where people become pre-diabetic. So if you look at what your hypothyroidism is, it's the thyroid.
I clicked on your link.
Yeah, the thyroid gland that produces the thyroid hormones. So for you, it's a hormonal thing, which means you need to have more balance than the rest of us do. So your testosterone levels cannot be low. Your cortisol levels cannot be high. And if they are, you're going to get sick, right? I think the ultimate goal for me is to get you off of those meds. And by doing that, we've got to stop by seeing what it is you do and eat on a reoccurring basis. So I'll send you a message with a little food chart that'll list everything you eat over a 7-day period.
Yeah.
And we'll see if I can't make a few adjustments to it. But back to that water thing again. Once again, we don't want fluids in our gut, right? So 30 minutes prior to eating, we drink our last glass of water. And I'm going to touch on water here in just a moment. We then eat our balanced food, protein, fats, and carbs. And I did go without red meat for just about 10 months, and it was great, chicken and fish. But what happened was I became anemic, and I was wondering how that happened. I was like, I'm the healthiest dude in the world. How did I get sick? Well, I was missing iron from my diet. So you can get iron in spinach and in red meat, but you might need to supplement that if you do consider getting rid of red meat altogether.
So you're saying, okay, so here's my question then. Is the quality of chicken good enough? Like, is chicken, I just don't want to, you know what it is? I don't want to eat crap. So like, is chicken, you're saying if it's organic, free range, all that stuff, it's good enough?
Yes. I'm saying whatever your protein choice is, then that's your protein choice. Too much of anything is not good, right? So if you eat red meat and you have steak and eggs and bacon every morning for breakfast, not good.
Yeah.
If you have a protein shake with fresh fruits every day for breakfast, not good. The idea is to have everything be balanced. So the question over here about water, I drink a lot of water, and some days when I don't drink as much, I feel super dehydrated, but also know I might be drinking more water than what is recommended. Any tips on how to reduce my water intake in a healthy way, or actually figure out how much water my body needs generally? Great question, Kieran. That was almost a setup question, like you're in the other room right now. I love it. Great job. So we want to take your body weight. How much do you weigh, Vincenzo?
Right now I'm like 190.
Okay, divide that by 2.
Which is way too freaking heavy. Okay.
What do we got?
95.
You should be drinking 95 ounces of water a day. How do you do that if you can't do it when you're eating? Well, first thing in the morning, you drink 8 to 10 ounces of water. While you're working out, exercising, or playing softball, you drink another 8 to 10 ounces of water. In between lunch and dinner, you drink 8 to 10 ounces of water. An hour after dinner, you drink 8 to 10 ounces of water. And before you go to bed, you drink 8 to 10 ounces of water. So take your body weight, cut it in half, and drink that many ounces of water on a daily basis. Don't count iced tea or coffee or any other beverage towards those ounces. Those need to be separate ounces.
All right, so wake up between breakfast and lunch.
So you're going to need to split about 90 ounces 9 ways. So if you can go 10 ounces at a time. For me, I get most of my water drinking done first thing in the morning and last thing at night with my training session. So if I train for 60 minutes, I'll probably go through 2 or 3 of those 10-ounce containers of water. You know, I've been talking about this a lot on Blab about eliminating toxins from your body. And plastic water bottles, all plastics create toxins. And
I use glass. I save my Pellegrino bottles and I fill it with water.
Beautiful. Awesome job.
Yeah.
Very good. Yeah, that's an easy one. For most people, I see people in the gym all the time buying plastic water bottles. And, not only what is it doing to our earth and the fact that it's not sustainable is that water can have chemicals in it that could be known to cause cancer. So we just want to eliminate those as much as possible. Robert's in the house. I'd love to have him come on so he can show us his new water bottle that he promised he would have instead of drinking out of plastic.
Oh, geez. I hope he has it.
Because I did my homework, my man, so I hope you did yours.
He's with his daughter.
Let's ask her about food.
Hey, Jennifer, what's up? So, okay. So you're saying chicken, fish, once a week with the red meat? Is that enough iron or no?
I think so. I think if you're eating spinach, I try to do a salad a day. And I'm not talking about the garden salad from, Olive Garden. I'm talking about what I like to call a man salad. So you pick your lettuce, whether it be spinach or kale, greens, whatever, and you add your meat. For me, I love chicken on my salads versus shrimp or fish. And then you're going to add your fats. So I'm going to use olive oil as my dressing and marinade. And I'm going to use a fresh lemon. And I'm going to add some seeds. I like seeds and nuts, sunflower seeds or almonds. I like a little sweet, so I might add some berries to it or even some craisins or raisins. And I'm going to toss it. And that's what I eat at least 5 days a week for one of my meals. So
5 days a week.
I'd say I eat 5 salads a week. Let's put it that way. Remember, I was 30, right? I used to drink Jägermeister out of a heated plastic container and in and out.
Yeah. I'm not crazy with. I'm like, all right. So alcohol, I'll drink my beer, but I'm not like. I am not someone who drinks every night. I mean, I do have wine because I make wine. So our family, we have homemade wine and whatnot. So I'll have usually a glass of wine with dinner most of the time. And beer. Like if I go out, I'll have a beer. Sometimes if it's a hot night, I'll just grab a beer. But alcohol is not like a huge issue for me in drinking it. But is there alcohol you should stay away from that you shouldn't even bother with?
So that's a loaded question. I was a drinker. I used to love partying. I used to love drinking beer, wine, all of it. And about 8 years ago when my daughter was born, I said, you know what, this chemical, really what it is not good for me. It's not good for, me being somebody who motivates and inspires. It's not good for my body. So I personally gave it up. And that's a choice and a preference. But if you have options to choose from, a very clean high-end vodka straight is going to be better for you than say beer. Once again, what you're drinking in beer has wheat in it. So you're drinking liquid inflammation. And that's why I have friends that I grew up with in high school that are still on that path, 36, 37 years old. And I mean, literally, you could take a needle right to their cheek and they were like 800 ounces of Coors Light would spew out of their body. They're so inflamed from the alcohol that they're not able to function. So, for someone like you, you do have to watch out for that because that will disrupt your cortisol levels. So if you look at testosterone and cortisol, testosterone is good, cortisol is bad. As we get older, over the age of 18 in men, our testosterone comes down and our cortisol goes up because we become more stressed or we sleep less. And before you know it, we're upside down. Which is why most of my clients in the gym are 30 to 45-year-old males who have lost their swag. They've lost their look. They've lost all of it. And we've got to give it back to them by just giving them these little tools to help them perform better.
Yeah.
How'd you hit last night in softball? What'd you go for?
2 for 3.
What position you play?
What's that?
What position?
Second, yeah.
I've seen more injuries in softball than I have in my son's football. Guys go out there, weekend warriors, and they're trying to
it's a bunch of, yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Because there's a bunch of morons. That's why, who are drunk most of the time.
So Robert asked about the Brita system. That's a good system. I'm going to have a friend of mine on during this 48-hour blabathon that I told Robert that I will be doing. and we'll have 48 topics to discuss over the 48 hours. One of them will be water, and there's a couple good systems that you can get. The problem with Brita at the end of the day is it is plastic, right? I haven't seen a Brita glass model yet. So once again, we want to eliminate all those plastics. And the crazy thing about plastics is if you just come home from the grocery store and you look, everything is wrapped in plastic.
Plastic, yeah.
Everything. So as soon as we get our foods home, we take the plastic off of it and we put it in glass, right? Use glass Tupperware, you know.
Yep, I do.
Don't use the microwave. Get a toaster oven.
Yep.
Put your stuff in the regular oven. All those little things over time are what's going to keep us alive for years past the people who are consistently eating crap and, you know, using the microwave to nuke their food and drinking out of plastic, right? So that's my hippie radicalness of the day, but that's the kind of stuff that they don't teach you because it's not sexy. You know, it's not as sexy as the magic potion or pill that people can take and, you know, feel or look good for a little while. But it's education.
Listen, it's not about the sexy, man. It's about staying alive and not getting fucking cancer. I mean, that's my goal in life. You know, I'm not looking to, like, you know, for me, it's more of a long-term thing. If it's going to help me perform better, you know, be more, you know, have more clarity and live longer, I'm all for it. Like if that's giving up cheesecake or giving up, like that's fine. You know, that's kind of why I asked you and reached out to you. Cause I'm done with like being confused. Like, what do I eat? What the hell do I do? Like, you know, I used to every morning I'd be up 4:30, go to my spin class. I'd spin for an hour, then I'd work out for like a half an hour every morning. And then for whatever reason, it just kind of went off. But I found that like it went off and so did caring about eating right. And that's when I hit that 230 mark. And I was like,
230. Wow.
Yeah. I'm only 5'9". So 230 was not good.
What did you graduate high school at?
I was real skinny in high school. I was probably like 160. I was a twig. Well, no, less than that. I was probably less than that. Like 150 maybe. I was absolutely skinny as all hell. One
of the biggest contributors to heart issues, whether it be heart attack or any kind of major issues that can put you down, is body mass. At the end of the day, the more body mass you have, the harder it is on all your internal organs, the heart being the most important one.
Yeah.
So, you know, you probably will live, or I call it fighting weight. Like, what's your fighting weight? So, like, I graduated high school at 155, and I think at my peak, and I was training, you know, 5-6 days a week to be a monster. You can kind of see this little photo of me here back in the day. I was about 215, 220 tops. And then I hit 30, and then I hit 35. And I was like, well, I think I want to go the other way because having big biceps is not going to keep me around for years. So
yeah, I don't care about all that kind of stuff either.
Lose the ego, check the ego at the door. I sit right now at about 174.
Holy and how tall are you?
I'm 6 foot tall. But here's the kicker. I eat more. I eat more than everyone. People are always like, dude, what are you eating now? Like, I've got apples in my hands. I've got berries. I've got almond butter. Like, I am constantly eating. I'm constantly fueling the fire, which is keeping my metabolism burning, which is allowing me to perform day in and day out, look good, feel good. Like, I'm about to celebrate my 20th year anniversary with my wife, who's my high school sweetheart, in 2 years. And people are like, dude, you're like Gilbert Grape, man. You're going backwards in time. And it's because of these very simple changes that I've made over time.
Wow. Well, shit, man. All right. Well,
so
that's awesome.
Here's what we'll do, right? We're going to just touch on one more thing. Like, I don't want you to quit things like cheesecake, but I want you to try and find things like gluten-free cheesecake, possibly made with coconut cream. Like, experiment with coconut ice cream. I know my kids and I were on that for a while, where we literally just took a can of coconut milk. And my wife's amazing at this. Her Facebook page, KAYYEM, she makes these breakfasts and these lunches for the kids where everyone's like, I would die for that kind of lunch. I'm going to put her info in here just for a sec so you can see some of these lunches she makes. But it's absolutely amazing. And it's simple ingredients. So, you know, she'll take a can of coconut milk and a coconut water and then take some fresh fruit and make homemade fruit pops. right? You can't buy fruit pops as clean as that. Like it doesn't get any cleaner than that.
Wow.
So real quick.
You had a snack in your hand.
I did. So
was that Hail Mary?
No, these are great. These are Justin's almond butter cups.
Yeah.
And the kids love these. Obviously, you can take them with you when you go places, and they're really convenient. There's a couple different flavors. You know, I love the hazelnut butter ones. Those are solid.
Yeah.
If you like desserts, right, this is another game changer right here because I still enjoy sweets. You know, if I'm gonna cheat, this is definitely it. We want dark chocolate over milk chocolate. So the eliminating things that we want to try to eliminate forever are wheat, dairy, alcohol, processed foods. If you can eliminate those 4 things, you are going to live a longer life than someone else. All right, do we want to open up the seats? Anybody want to come in and ask a few questions here or possibly talk about their own trials? Oh, there we go. Hermine is in the house.
Oh, Hermine.
Hello. I'm so glad you guys did this. We've been walking in the morning and have experts come in, and everyone has a little bit of a different flavor. But I want to know from you, I don't have a thyroid because I have like Graves' disease, so I had it removed. And one of the things I do like steadily every month is gain a pound or 2. I mean, it doesn't matter. I swim like, well, I haven't in the last 2 weeks, but a mile to 2 every day. I used to before Blab. What can I do from like an eating and food perspective? I only have like maybe 1,000 to like 1,300 calories a day. I've like cut everything. I don't do dairy. I very rarely do bread or, you know, wheat. Like what is there that somebody can do that has a thyroid problem?
That's a great question. And one of my clients who I've been working with for about 7 years also has a thyroid problem. And for the longest time, you know, she was like, Luke, I'm training 3 days a week. You know, I'm not eating anything outside of what you told me to. Why am I continuing to gain weight? So she went to see her doctor and, you know, she found out she also had a thyroid issue. So cortisol and balance and sleep are going to be key components for you. Like sleep, I know we're in this Blab era where it doesn't exist anymore, but you're going to have to find a way 2 or 3 days a week to get 7 to 9 hours of sleep.
All right.
So there's no magic food in this whole thing, right? So it's not just about nutrition and fitness. You have the lifestyle component. And that's really what I consider myself to be as a master in lifestyle and teaching people, okay, you're running hard, you're working hard, you're not eating anything, you're depriving yourself. Well, what's wrong? Well, I sleep 4 hours a night. Well, that's the problem. That's the issue. Your body's not recovering and resetting. So all these things can work in a beneficial way for you.
All right. Well, thank you. I will give it a shot. All right. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Irene.
All right. Let's try to take 1 or 2 more here before we get going. You know, for those of you guys that are on right now, as you know, Robert went 32 or 36 hours, and that kind of inspired me to get on here and start sharing really what I believe to be tips in life that will make you more successful. So I put it on record that I was going to do 48 hours in the Blab seat. And the main reason is to show global awareness towards health and fitness and nutrition. And that, you know, these people who are big money and big food, we don't have to listen to them. And even if there is a socioeconomic reasoning behind why people eat fast food and eat garbage and don't buy vegetables, if we teach them to do the right things and eat the right foods, then we're going to be able to pay it forward for generations to come. So I start tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. West Coast time. I plan on going 48 hours, 48 topics to discuss. And I look forward to, you know, being a great host and getting people in the chairs to ask the serious questions and the fun ones too, and deliver my message to the world and share this experience with everybody. I mean, as we all know, this is a great community. Last night, there was a little negativity happening. And I think, you know, a couple people were a little nervous about what's going to happen when. Well, this is a way for us all to kind of get in together, and we only want to hear positive things, right? My job tomorrow and over the course of those 48 hours is to make people feel better when they leave the room than when they came in. So if you'd like to be on the show, or you have questions, or you think you can give me a few extra topics, maybe we'll spend a couple minutes right now getting a few additional topics in.
Hey, Luke, are you in Arizona?
I'm in Scottsdale, Arizona. Yes, sir.
Do you know Cynthia Sassy?
Cynthia Sassy. I do not.
Okay. I know I know her through social, and I had her on my show one time, and I just noticed she's friends with your wife on Facebook. So
I'll have to ask her, but no, I haven't heard of
I
her.
didn't know if she was I didn't know if she like trained with you guys. I know she's always training. I don't know who she trains with.
So any other questions, Vincenzo, that you might have about things? Like that sleep one's a big one. And like people don't realize it because you can go and you can supplement, you can drink some more coffee. But what happens in the long run is it starts to just dig and dig and dig and dig into ourselves to where eventually we crash and we're not able to perform, or even worse, we start gaining weight the more we work out and the better we eat.
Yeah, no, I mean the sleep thing I have to work on. Although you know what? I say I don't get enough sleep, but I'm going to bed even if I go to bed at 1 and I sleep till 8, it's 7 hours. I mean, I rarely sleep till 8 though. So that's the issue there. What about when you work out? What about working out? Like, is it best to do in the morning and in the evening, in the afternoon, midday? Like, does it matter?
So I think we got to save the exercise piece of this for another time.
Yeah, that's fine, man.
Yeah, I think what we can do is, get on this thing in a couple weeks here and possibly even go into that exercise hole. But for me personally, I don't like to do long training sessions first thing in the morning. I like to have a couple meals in me, a little extra calorie. I like my body and my brain to wake up. For me, ideal is in that 1 to 3 time zone. If I go over 3 or 4 or 5 or 6, it's not going to happen.
Yeah, I'm the same way. Like I don't like doing the after 5. You get to the gym, it's freaking packed. You're like, all right, this sucks. Yeah, I hear. I like I do like midday the best. Although early morning used to work for me, so I don't know. Maybe I should just try something.
Yeah, that extra hour of sleep, it becomes more important than getting up and going to the gym, as long as you can go to the gym later on in the day or train.
Right.
What I'd like to probably do is put you in the hot seat and put you through a workout from your office in your living room. We'll go just body weight, and we'll go back and forth on this thing and see if we can't get you moving and doing some stuff that you might not be doing right now.
Listen, you know what? Are you still big on weights or no? Like
I do. I lift. That's the thing. That's the other thing. Yesterday we had a training session in here with a couple NFL guys, and we did bench press, deadlift, pull up, dip, and row. And there was absolutely zero cardiovascular training in that. But by the end of it, we were all hammered because of the way we did it. We didn't just do a set, right? So sitting around doing a set of a movement and sitting on a machine is not the way to go.
Absolutely not.
Think about training like an MMA fighter. You have to constantly be working every single muscle and every single ounce of energy in your body to get the most out of it. Because honestly, nobody should be training 5, 6, 7 hours a week unless they're training for a specific sport or they're training for a specific event. At 37, 36 and a half, and I'm extremely proud of this age. Like, people are like, you're close to 40. And I'm like, yes, but I will still kick your right. You got to remember that. Like, those are the important things about, getting a little bit older, because you've been following all the right things that you talk about. And that's the biggest thing for me and our brand is like, you got to walk the talk. Too many people in this industry, too many people in fitness, they do all this, but they don't actually follow those same principles.
Oh yeah, absolutely. This is good stuff. I mean, this is a good place to start. I took all the notes, everything you mentioned. So I'm definitely excited to give the coffee a shot and some salad hacks. That's good stuff, man. Yeah.
So tomorrow, maybe at 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock when we get started in this thing, I'll make some coffee and I can walk through that process. Anybody else want to get in the hot seat for a minute? Ask any questions before we all get out of here? All right, guys, have a wonderful day. Check me out tomorrow. Check this man out. He's amazing. Thank you guys for coming on board. Thank you for sharing, and have a wonderful day.
Take care, Luke. Thank you, bud.